Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. Welcome
Merry
to
Christmas.
episode 45. So today, I'm Neil, if you didn't know already. We have Pirate Tomsky.
Hello.
And we've also got Annie from A Stitch in the Sky. So we're going to be doing something a little bit different. So hello, how are you both doing?
Great, thanks.
I'm good.
Well,
So are you full
No
of the
more
Christmas
work.
spirit?
No more work, so I'm feeling a bit more Christmas spirit today.
When you back in? So how long have you got off?
I'm back on the 2nd of Jan.
Oh, so that's a good break.
I'm
One
back when
thing-
someone needs me.
Oh, sorry, Annie, say that again.
Sorry, I'm back when somebody needs me.
Oh, because you have an arrival coming, don't you?
Oh, yes.
Oh, I thought you meant you're
No,
talking
but I
about
meant
when you're
my
going,
work.
aren't you? Yeah.
But yes, there's been a scan today, and they were even thinking of starting her off.
Oh,
And now
blimey.
they're thinking of starting her off so that it might be a New Year baby.
Oh, you need to plan it so she's born dead on midnight, so they're not quite sure which year she was born in. That's what they need to do.
Oh,
Yeah. So if you haven't gathered, everyone, Annie's about to be a Granny Annie.
for the first time?
Are you going to be a nana, a grandma, or what are you going to be called?
Everybody keeps asking me, and I don't know that I'm bothered. So there will be 3 grandmas. So I think it might be easier for the baby's mum to sort it out.
So diplomatic. You should insist.
I'll be
Hey,
anything I don't
you need to get in there first and say, no, I'm going to be this.
And make it
Yeah.
really hard for them to say. So,
What did you call your grandma?
Nana.
The one that taught me to knit was called Nanny.
Nanny.
She was the best one. I had a grandma who was proper and a nanny who was a knitting nanny.
Grandmas are a bit prim and proper, aren't they? They're usually the strict ones. What was your
Yes.
grand called, Pirate?
Netta. But I call her grandma, just grandma.
Oh, right. Netta was a real name.
Netta was a first name, yeah.
Right. No, I had 2. Obviously, most of us do, don't we? Generally, but they lived far apart. So I had Nana last name and Nana last name. So,
Okay, yeah.
so that's how we always referred to them. So we knew which one was which. But anyway, Christmas. So we're all in the spirit, I think, here. And are you both looking forward to it, or are you bar humbugs?
Go on, Annie.
Sorry, I was someone was asking me questions. Yes, I'm looking forward to it. I don't do the cooking of the dinner.
Oh, does Tim do that?
Yeah.
Just
you have to
the
do the washing
of
up.
the dinner.
I'm a washer-upper, and I do a lot of tidying up as well on Christmas Day.
So you're the elf. You're the Christmas. on Christmas
No, my
Day.
daughter's the elf because she's the one who does all the decorating and everything. She's like having a Christmas elf around. Yeah.
What about yourself, Tomsky? What are you doing?
So I am looking forward to it now that I've got all my Christmas shopping done, wrapped, delivered to the relevant houses when it needs to go. And yeah, I'm spending Christmas at my dad's house this year. So
Who's cooking?
not me.
That's all
My,
that
dad,
matters. Isn't it?
my dad's wife. My dad's wife
Right.
will be cooking.
Is she a good cook?
Yeah, she's all right. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. I'm going to my mum, so my mum's going to be cooking. So I'm going to have to be watching over her shoulder all the time now because she can't see hardly anything. And what I've noticed that she's doing is she's not looking at the dates of things that have been in the fridge for 7 years. So there's been a few times she's tried to, pass over food that's obviously going to kill me if I eat it. So I'm just going to be watching with one eye what she's doing.
So you'll be making sure she doesn't serve up Brussels sprouts that look like walnuts.
Yeah. Or
They're
last
like-
year's Brussels sprouts, basically.
Oh.
I'll be checking the mince pie dates and things like that, but it should be all right. But I'm not a fan, believe it or not, I am not a fan of Christmas, even though I look like I should be. I just find it all a bit much. Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of glad I'm glad on Christmas Day evening. That's my favourite bit of the day, where it's kind of settled, bar humbug.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm not too much of a. I don't mind it, but it depends. I like Christmas depending on how early I get all my shopping done by.
Right, yeah.
The earlier I get it done, the more I enjoy it because I just don't have to think about it.
Yeah, are you a stress head then? Are you worrying all the time about what you haven't done?
Not really. I just don't like rushing around at the last minute. And so if there is something, if I do forget, if I've been busy with work or something and I haven't had time to buy presents, or I forgot to buy presents for certain people or whatever, that's when I start getting stressed out about things.
Well, you haven't bought me and Annie a present yet, so you need to be stressed about that.
Well, to be fair, your present, the present to you is my presents on this stream now.
Oh.
Yeah.
I won't tell you what your present will be. Anyway. Right, so we're going to be talking about English Christmas. So one of the first things I wanted to establish was I think we're all kind of atheists. So I think, Pirate, you're a hard atheist. I'm kind of an al dente atheist, and I think Annie's a soft atheist, I think. Do you think that's a fair description?
So what do you... I don't know, I'd like some definitions. On top of...
Wasn't that clear enough?
Yeah, I thought that was real. I've thought about that for hours today. I was thinking, oh, that's really tough. Okay,
So I
definitions.
Look, I guess for me, look, my position's changed over the years.
Right.
I used to be like, I suppose people would call them now militant atheists, in the sense of like, you know, the Sam Harris kind of, why do we need religion? Blah blah blah. God doesn't exist. What's the point? The Richard Dawkins type.
Oh yeah.
I read a lot of Richard Dawkins when I was younger, but I'm not as quite hardline on it now. In a sense of, I still don't see any evidence of God and that, you know, if God exists, but I do understand the reasons and the structures around religion and the traditions that help families and communities and that kind of thing. So I guess I've got a little bit more understanding than I used to have when I was younger. So I won't call myself a hard atheist, but I still don't believe in God, but I can understand why people do now. And I didn't have that understanding when I was younger.
So maybe you are the al dente atheist.
Possibly. I'm softening, I guess, in my older age.
So,
So yeah.
So Annie
You
was
brought
happy
up
with
with the church.
your definition, weren't you? Sorry, Annie. Say that
Sorry,
again.
shouldn't butt in.
No, go on. No, go
I
on.
wasn't. No,
I
wasn't.
brought up. Yeah, I was brought up with the Salvation Army.
Oh yeah, I was brought up as a Roman Catholic, but the Sally Army. Oh, I think that beats me. Sorry, any Sally Armies out there, but you know, you do have a reputation with your tambourines.
I did play a tambourine.
Ah.
I was in the timbrels and I was in the band. I played a trumpet and a cornet. I did like their attitude of not having a great big grand church and just having a hall, a functional meeting hall for having the meetings. And I did see that was a good thing. There's no wasn't elaborate.
Ooh, well, Roman
I kind of
Catholics, we had all
agreed
of
with that.
everything was gilded. Everything was,
Yeah.
you know,
Fancy.
money, and more money than you've seen ever. Well, you know, the Vatican, obviously. Yeah, everything was very much ceremonial and stuff. So were you brought up as an atheist then, Tomsky, or just nothing? Was it just never mentioned?
So I was christened when I was young, when I was a child, but religion just wasn't part of my life at all growing up.
So even at Christmas, because that's kind of the angle that I'm getting at with this.
No, not really. I mean, at Christmas, no. It was more just about spending time with family. There was no kind of Christmas religion connection in my household at all. So no, not really.
And Annie, it must have had a religious aspect for you growing up.
Yeah.
How big was it in the Sally Army? Was it huge, or was that pared down a little bit as well?
It's kind of hard to remember it, really.
You're not that old.
I am. It is that long enough ago. I mean, all singing the carols and playing the carols on the instruments and things like that. I enjoyed all of that.
Did you have like the nativity plays and things like that? You know, the birth of Jesus and all of that. You know, as kids, did you all have to play that?
Yeah, probably at schools. And if you think, like, we haven't really brought our children up with the church, but they have been to a church school because it was the closest and I could walk there. I also appreciate the morals of church teachings. I think that's a good thing to teach morals and right from wrong. But
this is why I say I'm an al dente atheist, I think, because for a long time I used to say, I'm a decent person in spite of religion. But now I kind of do wonder whether it is something that it's because it was taught. I don't know. I can't make my mind up. Would I have been, a reasonably, law-abiding person without it at all? I don't know. It's hard to say. Yeah. Go on, Tomsky. You're dying to say rubbish.
No, I'm just thinking about the point really, because that's something that's quite a kind of a hot topic in general at the moment about the whole are people blank slates or not when they're when they're born and it's that leads to a lot of the issues that we have now where people blame society for everything, or is there inherent kind of good and bad in people themselves? And I mean, if you've ever seen a toddler have a tantrum, you know that it's not society that made them do that. That's kind of my take on it. But
yeah.
But again, that's why I've softened on some of this stuff before. On some of this stuff, because the I suppose the morality, in my view, is like watching some Jordan Peterson type videos about some of this stuff where. He basically talked about morality and the strengths of community and how they're bound together, and what's good for individuals and good for the group and that kind of thing. Those are traditions that have survived over multiple generations, over long periods of time, and they've been codified into religion. And his take was kind of, look, there are good principles in religion that have been learnt over long periods of time. And the successful principles survive over time. Whereas the bad principles, if you go out and kill your neighbor, that's not a good principle for a community. So those communities tend to die off or get conquered by others.
But if you think of places that do not have a religion that we know of, as in Christianity, Judaism, even Islam, I can't think of many at the moment, but think of tribes people or whatever. It seems to be so the strongest decides what happens. So the stronger you are, the better.
Yeah,
and possibly. They are the ones who decide what morality the rest of the tribe should have, I think. But anyway, I could argue
that. What I would say is those tribes have their traditions that have worked for them over generations. And I would say the strong people in those tribes would be the clergy in the church. They're the strong people in the religion that focus on what's good and bad based on the religious writings of that religion. So it's just the same thing from a different perspective, I guess. And that's why I've kind of softened on the idea of religion is it's positive reinforcing behaviors over time that have helped communities and civilizations survive, and the ones that haven't have failed. So that's kind of where I am. I don't know. I'm still processing it all, really, and just thinking about it. I don't really have an answer, but that's kind of my thought process at the moment. Is why I'm not a hard atheist anymore, basically.
So on Christmas Day, how does religion, or how did it affect your day?
So my day, not really at all. Apart from maybe some of my I only had a grandma. The rest of my grandparents had died. But like my other family members, some of the older people in the family want to do certain things on Christmas Day. They want to sit. They want to watch. There was always like my dad's wife's mother always watched like church services on TV in the morning, and I think she went to church before she came over to So they do their thing, but it didn't really affect me.
So you didn't. I mean, Annie, I don't know whether you would have had this. We had what was called midnight mass. So it was generally for people that only went to church on Christmas. There were the people that went every week without fail, and then there were the people that just went Christmas and maybe Easter. And at midnight mass, that's when we used to go to get it out of the way, basically. And even as a kid, well, as a kid, you would go through, but the adults would be absolutely legless, and you could smell it. And also, the alcohol, and there was always a bit of trouble, somebody at the back, and then people were crammed in. It was standing room only. And I remember, all the tups and the moaning from the older people that went every week because all these people were coming just for Christmas and it was like a real kind of circus. But as a kid, it was great because you got to stay up past midnight, on Christmas Eve, and it was kind of, and then that was it then for me. I didn't think about religion again then until whenever. But how was it at the Sally Army? Did you have the similar thing?
No, we didn't have a midnight mass. And I'm just thinking how hard that must have been for the parents because the children are still up after midnight.
Well, I think they liked it because then you crashed, didn't you? Kids crash. I mean, I can't remember how old I was. I'm sure I wasn't like 8. You know what I mean? I think I would have been a bit older than that. I wasn't like.
Yeah, I knew about it because I know my friends used to go, and they all used to. The ones that were Catholics, they used to go drunk, like when we were older. Yeah.
And then on the actual Christmas Day itself, I don't think there were many people at mass because there is a mass on Christmas Day. There was about 5 old people at the front that probably didn't have anywhere else to be that day,
Yeah,
so,
I know the Salvation Army probably do a Christmas dinner for people who don't have anywhere else to go, to be honest. But that wouldn't have been me. So I think the meetings were probably just at the same time as they always were.
It's not a bad idea, though, to take the kids, to wear the kids out on Christmas Eve.
Well, that's what I think.
So they're not up at 4 a.m, waking you up wanting presents.
But you do need time in between your children going to bed for Santa to come.
Well, that
yeah.
Oh yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Well, I learned something yesterday.
Those mince pies won't eat themselves, will they?
Well, we're going to come on to that. We're jumping ahead now, aren't we? But I learned something yesterday that I didn't know, or I didn't. Well, I probably did know, but just didn't make the connection. And I don't know whether it's the same for you guys, but we never put Christmas stockings on the mantelpiece. In America, apparently they line them up on the mantelpiece, and that's where the presents go. I don't know if this is true of all Americans. I'm sure there'll be some saying that isn't what we did. But at my house, the stocking was at the bottom of your bed, so that you woke up and that's where it was. Was that the same for you two?
Yeah,
same for me. The idea of the stocking for me was, well, for my parents was to give me something to open without me leaving the bedroom.
Yeah,
and causing chaos around the house.
Yeah,
that's what we did with ours. Yeah.
Yeah, I was as a kid, I was always quite a heavy sleeper. Well, I still am actually when I do fall asleep. And I remember one Christmas, my mum must have gone a bit crazy, and it was a sack at the bottom of the bed, but it was a plastic sack. It was a bit like a bin bag, but red, and it was just full of stuff. And I slept, and my brother, for some reason, he was in the same room. We must have had people staying over or something. I don't know. And he couldn't wake me up, and he was throwing the toys out of my bag, Santa's bag, to wake me up because I wasn't there to enjoy it all with him because he was getting a bit pissed off, I think. But I think Americans find it weird to imagine that because you've then got to sneak in to the kids' bedrooms, haven't you, without waking them up?
Yeah.
So you've got kids on it. How did you do that when they were little?
Well, this is it, isn't it? Between them going to sleep and you going in their room, you have to leave a period of time and sneak about. And it was actually, Tim usually did that. So he was like the hairy fairy, going around. The Christmas fairy.
Did they ever wake up?
We'd always put an apple and an orange in just for
and some nuts.
Tradition. No, they didn't. No, I don't think they woke up. But we'd have to leave it a while. And then there would be the presents downstairs as well.
Yeah, because the sock, the Santa
they all have to be hidden somewhere.
Yeah, because you couldn't
they would be
bring them
hidden in. I still
don't tell us.
I used to hide things.
Well, yeah, you better not say then because
it doesn't really matter now. It's a class place though. If anybody's got one. I think she won't watch this.
Okay, go on. We won't tell anyone.
In the piano.
Genius.
Right.
That is genius.
Well, in the top of the piano, in the top bit.
The bottom, there's a board that comes down, and there's
okay.
some space.
Everybody watching now whose parents have a piano, that's where they're going now, isn't it? To find the money. That's probably where Annie's millions are as well.
I'll tell you, yeah,
No,
Annie's been stocking up on gold since inflation. So
yeah, try and move that piano. Yeah.
But wait, no, I'll admit something now. When I was about 9 years old, I figured out where my mum hid the presents, and she never knew.
Did you know every year what you were going to get?
Pretty much, yeah. There were a couple of things that I didn't know that they kept outside. Like my dad kept some things at the office.
Right.
But
yeah.
pretty much everything that was in there, I knew exactly where it was every year, and I knew what I was getting every year, pretty much.
It's funny because I knew where the presents were hid, and I've always been like this. I've always been able to wait. I've never peeked. Because I never wanted to know because I thought it would ruin it. Yeah, so even if I knew where they were, I wouldn't go and look.
One of the friends who lived across the street from me, there were some years where he used to take the toys out before Christmas, play with them, and then wrap them back up again and put them back.
Did he get caught? Were they neater? Did he wrap them neater?
I think he did one year. I think he didn't wrap something back up properly, and his mum noticed or something.
Could you imagine having to build a bike after they've gone to sleep?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I know somebody who has to put a dressing table together after her daughter's gone to sleep. It's things like that, if you've got midnight mass as well.
Adam's asking in the chat if you delivered presents to yourself, Neil.
Well, funnily enough, this year I have. I've ordered my own presents this year because I thought nobody's going to buy me that set of needles that I want, my knitting needles, if I don't get it myself. So yeah. But sadly, Adam, I won't be flying by your home because you're not, you're not Christian, are you? So therefore, you don't get Christmas. Sorry, Adam.
Doesn't he live in a communist country as well?
I only go to the Christian communist countries.
Okay.
If there are any. There are. See, during the Iron Curtain years, it was hard flying over, because the communists could shoot me down any minute. But there were some Christians in communist land, so I did used to go there. And,
no, I was talking about Canada. Oh, that's where he lives.
Well, I tell you who's not on the list. Bloody Trudeau is not getting a present.
Trudeau's getting a lump of coal so he can blackface himself again.
And neither Starmer. He's not getting a present neither.
Are you going to play that clip, by the way?
Have you? I haven't got it handy. Have you got it handy?
Let me find it. 1 second.
Shall we do it now, or do you want to do it later?
Oh, we'll do it now. We might as well.
Okay. Yeah, now we've mentioned Starmer.
Let me go to the video 1 sec.
So this is the beauty of having a guest like Tomsky on, because I've been able to give him access to my StreamYard, so it means he can do all the technical stuff. And because he doesn't show his face, it looks like everything's calm and nobody's panicking. Whereas if I'm trying to do anything, you can see that I'm trying to do something.
Yeah, the problem is it's been so long since I've used this platform. I've forgotten how to do everything. Okay.
Excuses.
Let me have a look. Can you see? Yeah, okay, that's come up. Yeah. Right. Can you hear this?
Yep, I can. I don't know. Can everyone in the chat hear it if someone lets us know?
Yeah, can chat hear this?
Yeah, can somebody say if you can hear the music?
Yeah, they're 30 seconds behind, so we'll have to wait.
I'll have it.
Yeah. Or 20 seconds or something. Yeah, they can hear it. Okay.
Brilliant.
All right, let's play this.
Try to imagine a house that's full of cold. Try to imagine being 80 years old. That's where I'll be since Kier left me. I wish tears could heat my home. What can I do Without fuel, I've got no place to go. It'll be freezing this Christmas. Without fuel at home, it'll be freezing this Christmas. While Keir Starmer's warm, it'll be cold, so cold. Without fuel at home this Christmas.
She told me that she doesn't get out of bed till midday because she didn't want to turn the heating on.
Each time I remember I've paid taxes all my life, I cry as I wonder, will I make it, will my wife? I just break down as I look around, and the only things I see are foreign walls and open doors and a freezing OAP. It'll be freezing this Christmas while our money goes abroad. It'll be freezing this Christmas. Rachel Reeves is a fraud. It'll be cold, so cold, without fuel at home this Christmas.
We inherited a situation where there was a £22 billion black hole in the public finances.
Do you remember last year when Rishi was here? We never thought there'd be an end. And I remember looking at you then, and I remember thinking that next Christmas things won't be this bad for us. But darling, this year things are even worse. And we really need warmth. And two-tier Keir doesn't care at all. It'll be freezing this Christmas without fuel at home. It'll be freezing this Christmas while Keir Starmer's warm. It'll be cold, so cold, without fuel at home this Christmas.
Are you crying? Well,
Yeah, so
feel
people who
miserable
don't
now.
know, people who don't understand the reference of that is that they cut the fuel budget for OAPs, right?
Mhm.
Back in the last
Yeah.
budget. So
Yeah.
They used to give them extra every winter, didn't they?
Yeah. How much did they get? Do you know?
Was it about 300, I think?
Yeah, it was.
I think it was when it first came out. I don't know if it went
Yeah.
up after that.
To be honest, though, I don't think anybody actually spent it on fuel. I think they did use it to buy Christmas presents. But even still, it's. But they made sure that all the politicians got their fuel allowance. Did you remember? Did you know about that? For
Yeah.
their second homes,
Yeah.
so they can do their constituency work. They get theirs, and I can't remember how much it is, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I found that the other day and just found it amusing. Well, sad and amusing at the same time.
Yeah, we were laughing loads, weren't we? Yeah, it's a
My
bit
mum
crap
can
at the moment,
probably
isn't it?
afford a fuel, but what she does is wraps herself up in blankets and fleeces and refuses to turn the dial on the thermostat, even though she could probably afford to.
That sounds like me. That's right.
Yeah, most men of a certain age get like that, where
Yeah.
they can tell if the
Turn it up,
thermostat's
turn
been
it down.
turned up.
Look, the heating only goes on if I can see my breath.
Yeah, I like that. I could live like that. Well, I've said it before, but men are generally hotter, aren't they, all the time? Women tend to be cold all
Yeah.
the time. Men are hot all the time. So men can definitely cope with it a little bit colder.
But I've got to a certain age where I'm kind of hot all the time too.
Probably for different reasons, Danny.
Yeah, I don't feel cold as much as I used to.
Does that last, though? Does that last forever now, though, or will that pass?
I've probably got a bit of extra meat on me now, so I don't really feel cold as much as I did.
Well, yeah, my top tip to all the
It
freezing,
can last a long time.
all the freezing people is put some weight on. When you get as big as I am, you're hot all the time. Although it has been cold here recently, I have to say. But right, let's talk about Christmas decorations. Who's got decorations up and who hasn't?
Got loads up.
So
Makes it cozy.
this is the first year I've ever put decorations up.
So you're a proper grown-up now, Tomsky.
Well, yeah, kind of, I guess. And I've only put it up for like people visiting and stuff. But this year I've moved into a new house. It's a bigger house, and I've actually got some space to put a tree up now.
He's got lots of wool rooms, everybody. So, if you're running out of space at home, Tomsky has offered.
I've actually got an entire empty basement. The bottom floor of my house is empty at the moment. So
hey, I could live there.
Yeah, you could do. Yeah, I'd
could do.
I'll set you up a little dog's bed, a little dog's cage in the corner.
It'll probably be better than what I've got now. What about me 3 cats though? Where are they going to sleep?
Well, they'll become outdoor cats pretty quickly.
Oh, no, they're too pampered.
Awful.
So this year I put a tree up. I've got a I don't know what you call it. I don't know, like what would you call it? I'd have to go and look at what it was called. It's like a row of like holly and pine cones and stuff across the top of my fireplace. I don't know what it's called.
What is that called? I know what you mean.
I've got a couple of reindeer candles on the top of one of my radiator covers, and 2 nutcrackers, little figurines that were sent to me by a couple of people in the knitting community.
Oh.
So one of them's a Kansas City Chiefs nutcracker, which is a football team I support. And the other one is it's a garland, yes, it's a garland, yeah.
Yeah.
The other one is a normal Christmassy nutcracker that's covered in glitter. So my entire living room is covered in glitter at the moment.
And is there a hidden meaning to that, or is it purely for cracking Christmas nuts?
Well, I think it's just, I don't know, actually. I didn't buy them. I'd have to ask the ladies who bought them for me. But
just the fact that you were given 2.
They're probably just calling me a cracker.
They're nice. They're traditional, aren't they? So we have a Christmas tree that just about fits in our house and almost touches the ceiling. And we keep it in the loft. It's an artificial one, but it kind of looks quite real. It's got cones on it and things. And we've got a garland down the banister.
And when do you put yours
tied to the banister this year?
Is that because of Daisy the cat?
Daisy, yeah. Crazy Daisy.
And when did you put yours up this year?
Just at the beginning of December, I think.
Wow.
It might have been a bit earlier. It was when my elf was available because she wasn't very well. She was off work. So then we did it then because that was good timing because she's not here a lot.
And when you were growing up, was that kind of how it was when you were growing up as well? Is that when the Christmas decorations went up?
They're supposed to go up on the 6th, aren't they? I think.
Well, in my house, there were very strict rules about this.
Yes.
And for in our house, it was the 12th. It went up on the 12th.
And down on the 6th of January.
And down on the 6th. But my mum, even to this day, swears that the 12 days of Christmas are the 12 days before Christmas. But it's not. It's the 12 days after, isn't it? It's Christmas. And that's what she thought it was. So we weren't allowed to have the tree up or anything until the 12th had sort of hit. And on the 6th, it came down no matter what. You know, I think she couldn't wait to get rid of them, to be honest.
There's all extras now, isn't there, though?
Well, I know in America, they tend to put theirs up on Thanksgiving, don't they? And then they stay up from Thanksgiving.
Yes, as soon as Thanksgiving's done.
Yeah, I think so. They'll be saying, no, we don't now, you watch. What about you, Tom? when did you put yours up?
So, me being a weirdo, mine went up in stages. So,
okay.
Well, I ordered because I didn't have a tree. I ordered a new tree, and when it arrived, I put the tree up and put it in the corner, but I didn't decorate it.
So it was like a sad, bare
it was just a tree with no decorations on for a few days, and then on the 13th of December, I decorated it and put everything else up.
So you kind of did it. Yeah. Okay. So you had a naked tree. Okay.
Yeah, for about 4 days, I think.
Well, I do have Christmas decorations, but I have to say it every time. The one year that I put them up when I had the cats, it'd been up about 20 minutes, And then that was it. It was on the floor, and there was a cat caught inside it, wrapped up in tinsel, the tinsel things, choking to death. So then I put it back up again, and then within 30 seconds it was down again. And basically I just can't do it. There's just no point. And anything, even if I put tinsel above pictures, some people sort of put them over the top of pictures, sort of drape them over. The cats would try and get it because it's anything new. Anything new, they have to be in it and on it and sat on it. So I just can't do it now. I just think, there's no point. It's too stressful.
I always will be wondering where the tree's gone because we've had the tree almost as long as we've had the cat.
Because so the tree isn't normally tied to the banister then, is it?
No.
Do you normally have... Right, okay. And has it worked? Has tying it to the banister worked?
It has, yeah.
I did see a little video of the cat in there, though. Or was it?
Yeah,
so...
she's been in it many times. It's about 8 foot, the tree. And yeah, she's been in it. There's a bit of a cubby hole behind, so she's been there as well. She's pulled a few baubles off, but it's not really been a problem. But it might have been if it wasn't tied to the banister.
Your tree is 8 foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got tall ceilings.
Well, it goes up the stairwell, doesn't it? So does it go up the stairs as well?
No. Well, if you're 6 foot, you need 2 foot above you, don't you?
Well, I mean, I guess so. Yeah,
it's just not an old house. It's like 70s. It's not.
Aren't ceilings 9 feet generally? Isn't it 9 foot ceilings?
Well, yeah, because your doorway is higher than 6 foot, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'll have to go and measure it. Just 8 foot, because I bought a 6 foot one, and then that's big enough. So I didn't think about
it
getting
does touch the ceiling.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
And do English people do anything different with our trees that other people don't? Do we have anything weird that we do? It's hard to know.
I think maybe between us and the American not having real ones. I don't think I've ever had a real tree.
We had one once as a kid, and my mum said she would never have it again because we were still picking pine needles up about 3 years later.
Yeah, I've had a few.
Yeah, is that a British thing? Do people get real trees over here?
I think more do now, don't they? I think back in my day, the pines did fall off like almost straight away. Whereas now, I think they do something to them so that the pines don't shed, don't they? So that's why more people. Oh, we've got a few questions.
Yeah,
of course the cats pull the sleigh. Who else do you think? Rudolph retired years ago. I mean, the light bulb nose went out. Yeah, we put crackers on them, but we'll come to that, I think, later on, won't we?
The lights go on first, and then you have to make your eyes go out of focus so that you can make sure that you've got them all evenly placed.
Well, my tree has lights built in.
Oh,
I'm cheating. It cost me a fortune, but it has lights built in.
Is it like a fiber optic one, or is it?
Yeah, with different colours and stuff. So
yeah, fiber optic trees are quite cool, aren't they? They're quite.
Yeah.
Yeah, North Star definitely. It's the North Star. Everything follows the North Star. See, there you go. Natalie, she has tiny little knitted sweaters on her tree. Oh, that's quite cool.
That's what you can do with that fabric, Annie. Annie, that's what you can do with that fabric. Make little Christmas tree decorations.
I'd have to knit sweaters. I've got a heavenly pea on my tree. It's a little pea with wings.
A pea?
Oh, here's a decoration I made earlier.
It's me.
It took me 9 years because I'd got legs in different bags and things.
Oh, you just needed to sew him all together?
Yeah.
Is he knitted or is he sewn? I can't quite see.
He's knitted.
How do we make you big? How do we do it?
Oh, that's big enough. He's all knitted. And that's that eyelash yarn.
Oh, what have I done? Have I done? Oh, yeah, me.
No, you did. I did it.
I forgot you could do it. I'm thinking, what's going on here?
That's the problem with making me an admin.
You use hairspray and scrunch.
Well, that's brilliant.
To go like that.
Did you follow a pattern or is it your own pattern?
Yes, no, it's an Alan Dart Nordic.
He's good though, isn't he?
No,
he's really
whatever.
Good. Yeah. Alan Dart is genius
like
when it comes to toys. So do you let your kid, or did you let the kids do your tree, Annie, or did you do it?
When they were younger, they used to decorate the tree, and I used to get all het up about it not being even. And then I got to a point where I was a bit more chill, and now Emily's taken over. So
right. And I bet she's as bad as you were when you were younger then. I bet she's a perfectionist, isn't she?
Yes.
Yeah, my mum wouldn't let us. We weren't allowed to put anything on the tree.
That's my knitted Christmas tree.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, nice.
With like fairy lights inside. But I think the moths have got at it like everything else.
My mum used to let me do some of the decorating, and then she'd redo it afterwards.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my mum. It was like a military thing for me, mum. You know, it was like, you know, everything had to be laid out on the floor in a certain order. Like you say, the lights had to go on first. Then I think the tinsel had to go on, but it had to be put on in a certain way because there was no point putting it on the back because that was in the corner that no one could see. So, but it had to be done so you couldn't see that bit at the back, and all the baubles had to be exactly right with the, you know, the right amount of space in between them. Oh God, it was a nightmare. I think this is why I don't really like Christmas, because it does come with stress. You know, you know, what do you call it when you have baggage from, you know, stress when you're a kid.
I don't think my mum was too bothered about how the Christmas tree was, but it was only about 3 foot high, and it was silver and white tinsel.
Yeah, they were always like, I don't know, the poor families always had them, Annie. Oh.
Yes, but we had a toilet, Neil. Inside our house.
Obviously, all our money went on the Christmas tree, obviously. Yeah. Yeah, I was almost going to go into a whole thing about inside and outside toilets then, but we don't go into that.
Well, I've got a question. Do any of your neighbours have like bright lights outside?
Yeah.
Well, I live in a high rise, so I can see practically half of Salford. And it's hilarious because in October, and I always know where they're going to be, there's about 4 or 5 houses out there, and the lights are on. And I actually really like it. Yeah. And I like, the more lights there are, I actually think there's something really quite nice about seeing it, especially at night. I can look out I can't now because I've got that covering over the whole window thing at the moment, so I can't really see much. But it does make it feel really Christmassy. I know it's obvious, but yeah, and they come out and they go overboard. It's like everything is covered. The whole roof is covered.
I thought you were going to say, I'm in Salford, and when I look out, I could just see burning cars. It's like Christmas all year round.
Maybe that's what they are, and I'm just seeing them as...
I just don't like them flashing.
I do think the fireworks are fireworks when they're actually gunshots. That's one thing that I've learned. Because gunshots sound exactly like fireworks, and I didn't know that.
The place I've moved to, one of the neighbours out the back of the house has got lights out, like a little Santa in the window and a reindeer on the garden. And it is quite nice because what you just said, Anna, it's not flashing.
Yeah, that's the thing,
and
isn't it?
They turn it off by like 10 o'clock.
Oh, my neighbours are on all night, and they go through a sequence.
Oh God, that would annoy me.
One of the sequences like flash, and it's bothered Emily a little bit, but it hasn't bothered me.
Yeah, there's something. I think there's a lot to be said for kind of dimmed lights. You know, lights that are on, but they just gives that kind of magical.
Yeah, they just softly go on and off. We've got some red ones, like red berries at the front. That's all we've got. Some along the gutters and some in a bush. And the ones in the bush, when you plug them in, they're on for 6 hours, and then they turn themselves off for 18. And then they come back on the next day. So we don't have to do anything with them, which is quite clever.
Cool. Well, people looking at my flat from outside will just think, God, he's the bar humbug, because there's nothing even remotely Christmassy in here at all, apart from this.
When you said you've got a cover on the window, what do you mean?
Oh, because I live in a high-rise, and they had to take all the cladding off, after the Grenfell fire in London. And the cladding's been off now for maybe 5 or 6 years. I can't remember how long it is. So it's been freezing because there's no insulation, but that's beside the point. But what they've done is they've got scaffolding now from the ground right to the top floor. And on the outside of the scaffolding, the whole place is covered in a white sheet. Plastic. So when you look out the window now, all I see are like the poles of scaffolding and the walkways. It's like being in a prison looking out. And then beyond that is like this white thing. So it looks like we're in a fog all the time. So you can see through it, but you just can't see anything through it, if you know what I mean. It's hard to
Yeah, you can't make things out. Yeah.
Depends on the day outside. Like I never know when it's raining now, whereas I used to, because that sheet stops the water even getting near your window.
All the time in Manchester.
Yeah, probably raining now, but I can't.
To be honest with you, what you want to do is days when it's not raining. That's what you want to look out for.
Yeah, so that's why I can't see. So it's like having a thing of snow outside the wall.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying
I know what you mean. I've seen it from the other side, right? I've seen the scaffold with the like mesh over it.
Yeah, it's like a net curtain.
So,
do you remember net curtains that everyone? Have you got net curtains there? No, you've got blinds, haven't you, Annie? I was thinking you've got net curtains, but you haven't.
Yeah, I've got some blinds.
Yeah. So what were we talking about then? So we're talking about decorations. Right? So what do Americans have the mistletoe thing?
I don't know.
Because that's weird, isn't it? That's a weird tradition.
We went to the garden centre a couple of weeks ago, and I was stood in one spot for rather a long time.
What, did nobody come over?
Like this, and he looked at me. He's like, "Why are you not moving?"
So
it took him a while.
So the in the chat they're saying yes, but does it have the same thing? Do you put it up and then stand under it so that someone will kiss you, like we do in this country? Because that's the idea of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know whether that is that a general thing. Do you think?
Well, I mean, you pretty much. I'm pretty sure you'd be arrested now if you did that.
It's in songs, isn't it? Kissing under the mistletoe and things.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Do you remember that scene where it's like I've seen so many people do this over the years at office parties, where they did it in The Office as well, the TV show The Office, where someone always gets a mistletoe and puts it above the crotch and goes, "Hey, come on, girl!"
Yeah, that happens. Yeah, that's true. Well, we didn't put that on our list of things, did we? Works Christmas parties. Oh my God. I stopped going to them very early on because what happens, either you get drunk and make a fool of yourself, or people that you once respected get absolutely pissed and make fools of themselves, and I can't cope with it. I can't handle that at all. And the old people are like, "Oh, come and dance, you miserable." It's like, piss off, I don't want to dance, you know. What about you, Annie? Did you have a Christmas party on your own?
Yeah, this is it, isn't it? I gate crashed one last year. It was the Durham Guild of Spinners, Weavers and Dyers. So can you imagine what
how pissed were they?
It was nice. They weren't drunk at all.
Oh, shouldn't we, what pissed means? Because in America, they probably think that means angry. No, I learned another thing as well, that in English, in our English, any word ending in ED can mean drunk. So test that theory out. So laddered, pissed, sloshed, yeah. And you can do it with anything. Tabled, shared.
Yeah.
So I've been on both sides of the Christmas party, make a tit of yourself thing. I've done it myself, and I've seen other people do it to a really, in Christmas parties are always a good idea on paper, a bad idea in principle, especially Christmas parties when you're not with everyone you work with are fine. If you're in a little small team of people, I don't have an issue because the embarrassment goes to that small team of people. If you're with the entire company or with senior leadership in the company you work for, that's when it can get really bad. I've seen people get fired for doing things at Christmas parties.
Yeah.
So they are a HR nightmare. As much as I hate HR, Christmas parties are a HR nightmare.
Well, you can guarantee there's always somebody who declares their undying love for somebody else and tries to, move in for the snog, and then that becomes sexual harassment. There's always the person on the dance floor who's taken a certain substance and is dancing as if their life depended on it. I don't know if you've seen that, but I've seen that a couple of times. Maybe it's a college and teaching thing. I don't know. But the worst people are usually the managers. Because I think they want to be seen like everybody else, and they don't want to be, the manager at Christmas, or they're trying to be your best friend when they told you off 2 days before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I know somebody who got fired for doing a line of coke in a bathroom at a Christmas party. And one of the women who worked at the company, her husband was a copper and walked in whilst he was doing coke off this table in the bathroom. So he was off duty, so he didn't do anything legally, but this guy ended up getting fired for doing it. So
it was you, really, wasn't it?
It wasn't me, it wasn't me. If it was me, I'd say it was me, but it wasn't. The worst thing I've done is, I think probably the worst thing I've done is, after a night, come out of a Christmas do, and everybody like was getting on coaches to go back to like the various towns that they lived in. I came out of the place pissed up, fell over in front of everybody, and made a real spectacle of myself. But I didn't just fall up because it was icy out. I didn't just fall over like normal people fell over. I did one of those falling over while trying to grab onto things and not quite falling quickly and pulling people down with me type thing. I made an absolute spectacle of myself. So yeah, it's
so it was a
that's
good
probably
Christmas
the
party.
worst thing I've done at a Christmas party, I think. Yeah.
Oh God, no! The thought of doing the Christmas party now, it's like, oh no. So you go to the Christmas party, then you have the regret, don't you? Because the Christmas parties are usually before you finish work, generally, aren't they? You've still got a few days to carry on working before you finish for Christmas, or in my experience. So then you've got a couple of days of like, oh God, everyone will know, everyone remembers what I did, and you have to sit there like awkwardly. And then you have people going, oh, you at the party, all that kind of stuff. So what else, before we get onto the day itself, what other things should we talk about to do with Christmas? So we've talked about decorations. We've talked about the religious aspect of it. We've kind of talked about presents, but is there anything else you want to say about presents?
Can be stressful, actually.
Yeah.
It is, isn't it? It's stressful because you're trying to squeeze it in, or because you can't think of things to buy people, or why would you say it's stressful?
Well, I've got to be honest. I absolutely, I really don't like Amazon as a company, but I'm a hypocrite because at Christmas I use them all the time.
Yeah,
just because it's so much easier than having to drive to a town or a city like you used to have to do to go and buy all the presents.
Well, can I give you a top Amazon tip for Christmas? And that is, when you buy something and they fill it with that brown paper, and there's usually loads of it, this is how much of a skinflint I am. I take that out whenever I buy it, so all through the year, and I fold it up because it's like concertina, the stuff I've been getting. Yeah. And then I put it in a cupboard, and that's what I wrap all my presents in, just brown paper.
That's
nice. Your Christmas presents?
Every Christmas present is wrapped in brown paper, and then I put string on it. I tie it with string.
Yeah.
And usually people comment, because it looks old-fashioned. It looks like what you would have had years ago. So I don't buy any Christmas paper if I can help it.
We recycle. We use that for just us four, the family, or recycled paper that was used last year. And I even have some of the gift tags that I get out and stick back on the more presents.
So are you one of them people that takes all your Christmas cards from the year before and cuts things out and then uses that as the tags? Is that what you do? Yeah.
Yes, but there's way less Christmas cards. I have whittled down my lists that I post and send.
I think I got 3 last year. That was it. 3.
My present stress is making sure that I've bought even amounts of things for people, and it used to be that there was a lot of birthdays in December for people who I couldn't think of one present to buy them, never mind 2. But I've dropped it. I've dropped that because my brother's family is a family of 5, and 3 of them have birthdays around Christmas, so it's like buying for a family of 8.
Yeah, I've got that. My sister-in-law and my niece both have Christmas. My niece on the 24th. My sister-in-law's on the 18th. So it's just an extra bit of stress to add to it, and it's a bit of a pain.
I still have loads. Yeah.
Can I just
mean,
say,
have
I just
more
wanted
as
to
well.
pull this up on decorations. Do you
Yes.
guys ever put the chocolate coins on trees nowadays? I used to do that as a kid, but I
Used
don't see
to.
it anymore.
In the
Yeah, used
stockings,
to.
I have bought some. They go in the stockings. This is my advent calendar.
Ah. Yeah, we used to have those ones that were like shaped of something. I don't know what it was, like a little Santa in a foil Santa wrapper. And that chocolate was horrible. It was like the nastiest stuff ever, wasn't it?
Yeah, Lindt is nice. Lindt chocolate reindeers.
Oh, we never had them as kids. I don't know when that came
not
about.
now.
And do you know, I've never had one in my life. I've never had one of the Lindt chocolates ever.
Well, you
Not
must
the
have
not
one.
the Christmas ones. Are they
Yeah.
solid or are they just
They're quite
like-
thick.
oh, are
They're
they?
not like Easter eggs. They are quite thick. Yeah, there's quite a lot
Oh.
of them. They're not
Well, I might have
completely
to get one.
solid. Very nice. Yes,
Yeah,
I've
Adam.
got net bags with gold coins in.
Yeah, the net bags. Yeah, I used to love those, but they didn't taste nice. But I used to like them as a thing.
Oh, they were just a pain in the ass to open, though. Having to peel one side. You ended up with chocolate under your fingernails while you were trying to open them.
Well, talking about chocolate at Christmas, have you seen the old, the Quality Street and the tins of chocolates? How tiny they are compared to what they were when I was a kid. Have you seen what they've done with them?
No, are they still in plastic containers as
Well,
well?
they used to be in big tins, didn't they? Like
Yeah.
big. They were full, whereas now they're in the thinnest plastic tub you've ever seen. It's like a quarter of the size that they used to be.
Yeah, it's shrinkflation, right? Where they just shrink the size of the products and keep the price the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be
I haven't
out.
bought a tin of chocolates for a long time, so I've not seen that, but it doesn't surprise me.
Well, we're kind of going on to food now, I think, aren't we? Which is the best bit of Christmas, as far as I'm concerned. So, on your Christmas day growing up, what was the food that you had first? So, not Christmas dinner, but what did you have for breakfast?
I can't remember. Maybe bacon sandwiches or something.
Just the ordinary cereal.
Yeah, just normal breakfast, but not
Yeah.
too much because you knew
Same
what
as
was
any
coming.
other day.
Yeah, maybe I was allowed to maybe have one of the chocolates out of a selection box.
Yeah.
Yeah, because selection boxes, just in case you don't know, were like things with just bars of chocolate in. I don't know whether Americans have the same
Are they
thing.
still a thing now? Do people still buy selection boxes?
Yes.
Yeah, you get them a lot in pound shops now, don't you? That kind of thing now. And they're not like they used to be. They used to be really quite good. They were a big thing, weren't they? Whereas now they're quite cheap and nasty. They were. I mean, maybe it's just because when I was little, I was smaller, so they looked bigger. I don't know.
no, but they selection box. They used to be
Well, yeah. Chocolate bars.
full size candy bars. From it would be from a particular chocolate company, right? So Mars, you have like a selection of 8 different Mars chocolate bars.
Yeah.
But now I don't. I mean, again, I haven't seen one for a while, so I doubt they'd have the same full size ones. And I'm sure they'd shrink and make smaller versions of them to put them in.
I've seen really
Boxes
tiny
now.
ones that are like little stockings where they've got 3 things in. But I remember the one I always used to get one that had a Turkish delight in it, and I never liked that as a kid, so I always used to give that to my gran as if I was dead kind. But it's because I didn't like it.
I don't think that was Fry's, right? Fry's Turkish delight.
Yeah.
I don't know what else was in
What
that
else
one.
did they do? Yeah, what else did they do?
But it can't have been its own brand one because it was Turkish Delight, and I think it had. I think it was a mix. I don't know who did that one then, but it was definitely there. We had one every year with the Turkish Delight, and my gran was probably like, "What the hell? Why does he keep giving me that one?" You should probably never. Well, she wouldn't know, wouldn't she? Gran's out stupid.
I used to love Turkish Delight.
I like it now. I could eat it now, but as a kid, I didn't like it.
My dad worked in factories and they used to have, I don't think they had a staff Christmas party, but they'd have a Christmas party for all the children.
Oh, right.
And you would have to say what gift you wanted. So you're talking ICI for big companies. And you'd get the gift that you wanted.
Oh, wow.
If it was within a reasonable amount.
Yeah.
And it was a Christmas party as well with a load of other kids that you didn't know.
Well, did your
I'll be back in a sec.
Oh, did your when I was a kid, my dad worked for Boddington's Brewery at one point, and they used to give every single person a massive turkey at Christmas.
Right.
That was on a boat. You got a bonus and a turkey.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that happening now at all, ever.
Tim will get a bonus.
Right.
Because it is a place that makes a lot more money at Christmas that he works for.
Right. So it kind of makes sense that.
So they would. Yeah.
Yeah.
They would
I don't think I've ever worked for anywhere that gave you a Christmas perk or anything like that. I don't think I have.
No. I've had some tips.
What? Give up your job? Oh, working in a bar at Christmas was great. I did that for a couple of years, working in a pub. And you make a fortune in tips at Christmas. People are just stupid, absolutely crazy. Right, so you have your breakfast, so you have your cereal, like that's what I did pretty much. And do you, as a kid on Christmas, is that when you opened your presents after you've had your cereal or not? Did you have to wait?
I think I would have opened mine straight away, maybe even before breakfast.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, as soon as we got up, we could open them.
We were allowed to open whatever was in the stocking before, because like you say, that was to keep us busy, while they stocked it.
Well, that's because you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning or something, isn't it?
But my mum was very regimented. I don't think we were allowed to open any presents until 10 o'clock. So we had to have our breakfast and we had to wait. And luckily there was a cartoon on or something, because that's when my mum would have been preparing, the food.
Yeah.
Peeling spuds and...
Yes, because she'd want to watch you open them as well as having to do the dinner. Yeah,
so 10 o'clock, that was kind of when we did it until sort of 12. Not that it would be that long, but, that was kind of the time period. What about you, Tomsky? When did you...
Yeah, mine was similar to yours, Neil. There were only I only remember 2 rules. Number 1, everybody had to be up.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And my mum had to finish the initial prep of the Christmas dinner.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, probably around 10 o'clock. And then we just, and also another thing that she always made us do was, everyone would go around in a circle and open things one at a time.
Yeah, that's like it was to me.
Yeah.
So only one person was allowed to open anything at a time, unless somebody had got the same gift, and you would say it's the same thing, so open it at the same time.
Oh, well, yeah, it was none with that. It was one at a time, all the way around.
My mum did that to me very recently.
Oh, go on. What did she do?
We were in the car and I had Keen on. And, they're quite melodic, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And she said, oh, who are these? And I said, oh, it's Keen. I really like them. And then maybe 18 months later, she said, oh, I want you and Danny, my brother, to open your presents at the same time. Because they're kind of similar. Okay, so she got us together and we opened our presents at the same time. And he got piano music for Keen. And I got TV themes.
I think we need to say you both probably play piano, don't you? So
yes, we had to. We were forced.
What a thoughtful gift.
She knew what she was doing. So I sold that TV theme book on eBay and bought the Keen one.
Oh, so you knew
bought him Keen and me TV themes.
Right, knowing you would have rather have had that one.
Knowing that I like Keen.
Right. Does your brother like Keen though, or does he?
Probably likes them as well, but she didn't know whether he did she? But she knew I did.
So there's still a bit of sibling rivalry there, obviously.
He's all right. No, it's her that's the problem.
Oh God! Yeah,
trying to keep you fired up.
He's got her this year.
So that's why Annie's chilled. She's not.
It is. The most stressful thing about Christmas is the people that you have to spend it with.
It's true. I've done a few Christmases on my own, actually, and before everyone's like, oh. No, they actually were pretty good Christmases. I got to watch exactly what I wanted to watch on TV. I ate exactly what I wanted when I wanted. I didn't have to, have a regimented Christmas dinner with every, if I just wanted Christmas pudding, I would just have Christmas pudding. And it was actually okay. And now I would never worry about spending Christmas on my own, because the first one, I think I've done 3 now on my own. But the first one, I was a bit like, oh God, I'm going to be on my own on Christmas, and you kind of feel a bit like, oh, what's it going to be like? But it's actually great. It's actually all right.
I know some people who do, who don't
I've
mind.
done a couple on my own.
And how did you find it though? Were you bothered or?
Well, to be fair, most of them, it was when I was hungover as hell, so I didn't really care. There was one year when I basically woke up and said, I can't. I think I got home at like 7 o'clock in the morning or something after a night out. And I rang my dad and I'm like, I can't drive. If I drive, I'm going to get arrested. So I basically just spent Christmas Day by myself and just ate what was ever in the fridge and just watched whatever I wanted on TV and just didn't really think about it too much.
Yeah, there was nothing worse. I remember as sort of when I was about 17, 18, because we go out drinking much earlier than the Americans do. We usually start at school, don't we? We're honest. That's when we start going to the pub, or we did in my day. And if you were drunk on Christmas Eve, you didn't get a lie in. You still had to get up at the crack of dawn, even though, and that's because my mum was doing the potatoes and the carrots. If she was up working, you had to be up. You know what I mean? It's like, let me sleep until lunchtime, but no chance of that.
So my brother is a few years older than me. And so he used to get really pissed off when he had to get up early because he used to go out on Christmas Eve. Whereas I was too young to go out. This was when he was a teenager and I was like 11, 12 type thing. So I was up with it. And he used to get really mad because my mum forced him out of bed at 8 o'clock on Christmas Day.
Yeah. They get later, your children. They're getting you up and then they gradually get so that you're up first and you have to get them up.
I kind of see it from my mum's side now, though. I bet you do as well, Laddie, having had your own kids as well. Did it annoy you if they were drunk and lying in?
Not really, no. No, not really. I found the Christmas lists were funny because we used to get scrawly bits of paper. And then we had this routine of getting the Argos book. And we had to have 2 copies of the Argos book so they could look at all the toys. And then eventually they were emailing me their Christmas lists. And texting them because they had phones and things. So I found that kind of funny, how it went from scraps of paper to emails. Yeah.
You've kind of twigged a memory because that Argos thing and the catalogue thing, when that winter Argos or catalogue came out, I remember as a kid going straight to the toy section at the back and going through, choosing and circling things that I wanted. Yeah. Everything, basically. It was pretty much everything.
How random was... I haven't been in Argos for about 20 years. But if I remember correctly, Argos is the one where you walked in, you got a slip of paper, you wrote down the number from the catalogue, and then what did you do? You submitted it, and then you had to go pick it up afterwards from a counter?
You had to go to one counter and pay, and then you had to go to another counter and wait while they got it out of the back.
Yeah,
still do.
Yeah, they
but
still do that.
It was kind of like the Amazon of its day, though, wasn't it? Because you could get anything from Argos, pretty much anything.
Well, it's a warehouse, isn't it? So they use all the space on stock.
Do you remember Index? There was another one called Index. Do you remember them?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I remember them in the 80s, but I think they must have gone bust. That's where my Christmas presents came from, Argos.
Yeah, it just seemed like such a weird thing that you just couldn't go and pick up the thing from the shelf that you wanted. You had to ask for it and then wait for them to go and get it.
They have like conveyor belts behind, don't they?
Yeah. And do you remember when it got computerized? It was never quite the same, was it? Because now you just put the number in.
Oh, it's all touch screen, isn't it?
Yeah. And then it kind of is waiting for. I think you even pay for it there now, don't you? At the thing.
Did you never nick the pens and pencils from Argos?
Oh yeah. I still do from IKEA. I nick the pencils and the rulers. Those paper rulers they have in IKEA. I love those. They're so handy. Did you ever have an argument with anybody in Argos though over the catalogues, trying to get to a catalogue? And there was always people,
I don't think so.
No.
It was a nightmare.
Were the catalogues like they were like pinned down, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were laminated, weren't they? The pages were all laminated, so you couldn't rip them out. Because I think that's what people used to do originally. They would rip out what they wanted rather than writing the number down.
I just think it's a germ spreader, isn't it? Having them catalogues, and even now the touch screens.
Well, yeah.
You can order on. You can just make like look at home now, can't you? And print screen the number and just go to the counter and tell them the number.
I think you can order it. Like you can pay for it and order
Yeah,
it.
you can. Yeah.
I bet there's an
Don't
app
get
on
it
your
delivered.
phone.
Nightmare. Sorry, what's
I
that?
bet there's an app on your phone. You can just walk in and say, "Hey, I want this," and just use
Yeah,
your
there
own
is.
phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's go back to food for a second because we haven't talked about Christmas dinner.
No,
So,
we haven't.
what is on your Christmas dinner? Because Americans will be like, "Ooh, English food."
Turkey, stuffing.
Yeah.
Sprouts.
What stuffing? Do Americans have stuffing?
Yeah, I think they will. Yeah.
Do they?
Chestnut and
So what is it? It's onion, bread, sage. What else is in stuffing? Is that it? Onion, bread, and sage. Sometimes pork if you fancy.
Well, it's chestnut
sometimes
stuffing.
with pork and chestnuts. Yeah.
Yeah. I could eat a bowl of stuffing. I absolutely love
Yeah,
it.
I like stuffing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And
they
you
have
put that-
stuffing on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, because our Christmas dinner is very much like their Thanksgiving dinner,
Yeah.
really, isn't it? So it's roast potato.
Roast potatoes.
Gravy.
Yeah.
Who?
Gravy.
Gravy.
Oh, gravy. Yeah, not that weird gravy in America, but proper dark, shiny, rich gravy. Cranberry sauce.
Yeah. Pigs in blankets.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do they know what they are? Pigs in blankets.
I don't know.
So they're little sausages wrapped in streaky bacon, generally, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes, if my mum was being really posh, sometimes we had a bit of ham as well. Sometimes, but not very often.
Oh, the ham was Boxing Day.
Ah,
For us.
yeah, right,
It was a different meat on Boxing Day.
right.
Yeah. We've got both this year. Don't know when we're having them. And well, no, we're having turkey for Christmas dinner, but not everybody does now, do they?
Not many people like turkey. I mean, I don't think I'm particularly a fan. I think I'd rather have chicken, to be honest. You know.
Oh, no, I
It's the
love
only
turkey.
time I have it, so I like it.
Yeah, but it's the spectacle, like though, isn't it? Because it does look impressive, doesn't it, when it's done well? What about sprouts?
Yep.
Yeah,
Stick those on.
definitely.
You've got to have
Lots
sprouts,
of
haven't you? Even if you
Parsnip.
hate them. Parsnips are my absolute favourite.
Parsnips and
Absolutely.
carrots that are like baked with honey, drizzled with honey or something.
Do you have carrot and swede mash?
Not on the Christmas dinner.
Do you not? Oh, we always used to have that as well. I did a carrot
Yeah.
and swede mash with loads
Yeah,
of
I've had
pepper
that.
in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Yorkshire puddings.
Actually, no, we never did Yorkshire puddings
Oh,
on Christmas.
I don't know if we do at Christmas.
We used to do them every weekend on a Sunday roast. So Christmas is like the one day we didn't do it.
Yeah.
well, Christmas dinner is a Sunday roast, really, isn't it? Except with a bit more pizzazz.
Well, that was something I said to Tim earlier, but I can't remember what it was. Oh, crackers! Crackers.
I was
that
going to
you
mention
bought.
that, yeah.
We haven't got any, and I said it's the only difference between a Christmas dinner
Oh, and
and
a
a
Sunday
Sunday
roast.
dinner.
Yeah,
Is your
because that's
crackers.
you did have the cracker at the dinner, didn't you? You had
Yeah,
it,
and the tablecloth.
and did you do it after you'd eaten? I can't remember. It was after you'd eaten, wasn't it? The crackers. Or was
No,
it
before because you have to
No,
wear your
before.
crown while
The
you
hat.
eat.
Yeah,
And
Is
plus,
that
you
what
want to
it
get
was?
all the crap off the table, right, before the food arrives.
that's right. Yeah,
All
you're
the-
right.
Tell
all the
jokes
cracker
over
waste.
dinner.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated having to wear a paper hat. Did you, or did you like it?
When I was younger and I was really kind of obsessive about my hair as a teenager, I hated it. But now I don't care. I'll quite happily wear a hat.
Yeah, because for the American don't have crackers apparently. So they're how do you explain a cracker?
It's just a tube of paper that's it's like a sweet, isn't it? It's gathered in each end, and there's a snap inside, so that it pops when you pull them. Two people pull it. One person gets the middle bit.
Yeah, and there's always like a technique, isn't there, to try and
You have to
win
hold it tight, or it won't.
Yeah.
It won't snap.
And inside you have a paper hat, like a crown, a paper crown that's folded up that you immediately have to put on your head, otherwise there's trouble. Then there's a really crappy joke that never made anyone laugh ever.
Well, it's just the worst dad joke you can think of, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really like the bad jokes.
Didn't they used to put them on lollipop sticks as well? Those bad jokes.
Yeah,
Do you remember?
yeah.
Yeah, that kind of.
Here we go. This is a cracker. I'm sure people know. Here we go. That's a cracker.
Yeah, that's it. So you can make your own with a toilet roll.
So
it's like
people
toilet rolls,
someone grabs this side, and inside here is a bad joke, a paper hat, and usually a crappy toilet's worth about 10 pence or something.
Yeah,
Even though you paid £1 for the cracker.
One year, my mum got really posh ones, and they did have really cool gifts in. That was she never got them again though, because I think they were too expensive. Because I think she spent a lot on them, like £100 on them or something. Because you can go silly with them, can't you?
You can buy them in the sale, can't you, in January and put them in.
Oh yeah, maybe that's what she did actually. Yeah,
yeah. I think my stepmom did expensive ones one year, and they just weren't worth it because even with the even if you get a nicer gift, they're still gimmicky, useless gifts. You're just spending more money for the same tat.
The
Sometimes
only
you get
year.
nail clippers.
Oh,
Tape
really?
measures.
The best gift I ever got in one was a
That's out of a
tiny
cracker.
screwdriver for glasses, and it was really useful.
Yeah. I've got a tape measure that's 26 inches. So
So
it's like half a tape measure.
crackers have landed in America.
Mm.
Ooh. I think you should all go and get some for this year and tell us what you think.
So can I just say something on that comment there? In the holiday section, what do you think about this thing between calling it a holiday and Christmas?
I get annoyed about it, but I get why the Americans do it. I understand why America does it, but I don't get why we do it. Because we are a Christian country and we celebrate Christmas. Whereas in America, they call everything, well, they don't all, but it's holiday season because that starts with Thanksgiving, doesn't it? So you've got Thanksgiving, you've got Hanukkah, you've got Christmas, you've got all of the other things, whatever they are. I think that's why they call it holiday season. But it pisses me off if they do it here.
Well, I've noticed a few people recently in the UK pushing back on when someone says Happy Holidays.
I'm one of
I've
those.
seen a
people.
few people pushing back saying, "Don't you mean Merry Christmas?" And I've not noticed it before. Maybe it's been going on for a long time.
Well,
but I've not this year. I've just noticed it. Maybe I've just been looking out for it or something. But
well, in the 2000s, when I remember teaching, and I remember I used to have a class of trying to choose my words carefully here, people with learning disabilities. So one of the things at Christmas that we would do would be making Christmas cards. You know, just an activity basically. And I remember this one particular year, it would have been 2004, it would have been. And I did Christmas cards and got complaints from parents because we shouldn't be calling it Christmas. And after that, for a couple of years, I was kind of like worried about it because it's like, oh God, here we go, and then it was holiday season. And if you don't celebrate, having to do that in the classroom. And then after a while, I thought, why am I doing this? This is, you kind of get, in the woke nonsense. That's kind of when it all started, wasn't it? Yeah. So now I am definitely, it's Christmas. And if you don't like it, tough shit.
Yeah, it is Christmas.
Because they never do it with any other festival for other religions and other cultures. They never say, oh, in, I don't know, when it's Ramadan, they never say, oh, in the holiday season where you've been fasting. They always call it what it is.
Yeah.
But for some reason, people think Christmas is offensive. It's like, how? How can it be offensive?
And they don't really do it. They don't do it for Easter either. Right? I've never heard Easter being called anything other than Easter.
Well, I went one year. I had a proper, I don't know, angry from Manchester year where I kept writing to supermarkets because I would go into a supermarket at Easter and it would say the aisle. They have the labels for the aisles as you go in, and it used to always say Easter eggs when it was Easter, and now I think it just says eggs. So there are two aisles with eggs. There's the chocolate eggs and there's the eggs. So I basically kept writing in saying, it's not eggs, it's Easter eggs. Why? And all of the Easter eggs remove the word Easter.
Yes, they did, didn't they? Yeah.
And I don't think they've got Easter on it to this day. I don't think.
Right.
You might get
just
stuck.
noticed. Well, what you want to do, Neil, what you want to do is you want to go in one day and swap the real eggs around with the chocolate eggs. swap them round in the store and see what chaos that causes.
Oh, I'd probably get arrested though, because you not remember that guy that in Salford, actually, it was in Salford, it wasn't me. He put stickers on the halal meat that was being sold to us, you know, because they sell us halal meat and don't actually label it, even though it's a legal requirement. So every chicken in a supermarket here has been killed in the halal way, but they just don't label it. Same with lamb. Every lamb has been slaughtered halal. And this guy started going around putting stickers on them so people would know. And he got arrested and he was convicted of it. I don't think he went to prison, but yeah, so you daren't touch any stock in a supermarket. You get into a lot of trouble. Because I have thought about it. Yeah. So what else about Christmas dinner is there? So we talked about, what about the puddings? I think that's where we are.
So Christmas pud for me. There's nothing else, just Christmas pud. I don't. There's none of this Christmas cake at the table for me. Just give me a bowl of Christmas pud with some brandy cream, and that's me done.
Brandy cream.
And how should it be presented to you?
Well, initially whole with some brandy on it and lit.
Yeah, and all the lights have to go off, and we all have to go ooh when your mum walks in with it on fire. Because
yeah, we don't do that.
I've done it on my own. That one of those Christmases on my own. I had a little Christmas pudding, and I put a bit of brandy on it. I lit it.
Yeah,
it's like why?
I just
microwave it. Oh yeah, they're great then because you microwave them for like 5 seconds, don't you? And they're done. Americans don't have Christmas pudding, but it's how would you describe it? It's
do they have mince pies?
It's like a fruit. No, it's just a fruit cake, right? It's like a spicy fruit cake.
It's a fruit cake with marzipan on and icing. Oh no,
cake.
No, that's Christmas cake.
The pudding.
But Christmas pudding is a steamed
boozy fruit pudding, isn't it?
It's steamed, so it's kind of different. So you don't, like cake has a crust, doesn't it? A cake generally. Whereas this doesn't, does it? The texture is the same all the way through. It's very dense.
Yeah, so I would. I guess it's like for me, it's like a It's like a stodgy fruit cake, right? It's like it's quite. It doesn't fall apart. It's quite like you say, it's quite dense.
It's gungy and it sticks to your teeth.
Yeah, it's very dark, isn't it? It's like kind of black, kind of.
Yeah.
It's very strong flavour, very strong of alcohol as well. Even as a kid, we would have had that. And some people don't like it. Some people hate it. And I've never understood why, because I love
Some people are idiots.
Well, you've got the people that don't like dried fruit, don't like sultanas and currants and things like that. So that's fair enough.
So that's your mince pies, your pudding and your cake gone then, isn't it? If they don't
pretty much, yeah. Yeah. So tell us what mincemeat is then, Annie, because you had a jar there, didn't you? So
I'm being optimistic and wondering if I can actually make some of them.
Oh, are they like...
So this is a jar of mincemeat, and you make your pastry pies, little pies, aren't they? Mince pies.
Says he's asking about Christmas puddings. I think traditionally they were steamed. Whereas now most people get them already made and just microwave them because they're really quick.
It takes a long time to steam it, doesn't it?
Oh, is it about 3 hours or something?
You can still steam them, but you can just microwave them really quickly.
But not many people actually make them from scratch because how long a Christmas cake you make a year in advance, don't you? Well,
yeah, we have to keep bringing it out and soaking it right in different booze and stuff and putting it away again and
keep stabbing it, don't you, with a little stick?
Knitting needle.
Funny enough, like 2 days ago, my stepmom dropped off a Christmas cake she made last year.
Right. Oh, when are we coming round?
There's none left.
Have you had Christmas cake with a slice of cheese?
Not this year, but I have.
Stilton.
God, I love it. At the same time, you've got to eat. It's absolutely delicious. There's just something about it that works.
Yeah.
BS is asking, what is mincemeat? It sounds like canned meat.
Vine fruits, sultanas, mixed candied peel, currants, raisins, fructose syrup, lemon peel, sugar, vegetable suet. I'm just reading out the.
It's just fruit now, right? It's not actual.
It used to have meat in it.
Used to have meat in it, yeah.
It's got suet in it though to What's that
Yeah,
for?
that's the fat, isn't it? Yeah, that. But yeah, it used to have meat in it, and it was a way of getting the meat to stretch further, wasn't it? Because they didn't
And
have
it's
much
just
meat.
sticky fruit, isn't it? They're sticky, aren't they, mince pies?
And it's the spices more than anything, isn't it? In
Yeah.
mincemeat and Christmas cake
Yeah.
and stuff. It's very heavy on the sort of. Is it cinnamon and what are the other Christmassy spices?
I'm not sure actually.
It doesn't really say in here.
Does your mincemeat still have meat in it? No, I don't think
No
any
meat in
mincemeat now
this.
would have meat in it at all.
No.
But you could. But some people make their own. But again, it's a long process. But you just buy a jar now.
Yeah, it's good though. Yeah.
Australia, Knit Fuckery says her nana, is it? Her name, her nana, steamed them wrapped in calico. Yeah, that's would have been how they would have made it. And then BS. Oh, so it's like a super sweet thick jam.
Yeah.
No, I would say it's not.
Only with raisins.
It's like a thick jam, but with fruit in it, like full whole fruit.
But also, you would have to cook it, wouldn't you? Because it has those flecks of lard, which is pretty
you
much
couldn't
what
just
the fat
eat it
is,
on
isn't it?
toast.
Yeah, it wouldn't. I mean, I suppose you could if it melted on the toast, but you do have like those lumps, white bits. You probably can't see it through the jar there, can you?
No, it's
How much would it take for you to eat a spoonful of it on stream, Annie?
I'd have to go and get a spoon.
Yeah, that's the problem. No, yeah, I would eat a spoonful of it, no problem.
It smells nice.
Do you like mince pies though?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can only eat one or two.
I don't like the shop ones with all the crumbly, horrible pastry, which is why I've bought this. Because my mum used to make them like you would make a jam tart.
Yeah, when it comes out the oven, it's like lava, isn't it? It's like you daren't go near it because it's not.
Yeah, but you put a lid on these, whereas a jam tart, you just leave them open.
Yeah.
But I think that's a key point about mince pies is it's the pastry makes or breaks them.
Yeah, and all the shop
If
ones
you have,
are...
if you have ones where the pastry just falls apart in your hands, that's like the shop ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that give you heartburn as well. Those type. You know,
just full of rubbish, aren't they? So.
Yeah. And the other thing I don't like is when there's kind of flour on it. Do you know when some people? Yeah, some
icing
people
sugar.
have. No, I don't like icing sugar either. But sometimes people make them, and they've floured it as well, so it's kind of cooked, but there's loose cooked flour on it. Do you know what I mean? Have you never had that?
Oh no, I don't think so.
No, I don't like that at all. Maybe it was just one bad thing. So we have mince pies. Now that's something that I think an American should try because I think Americans would actually like them. I reckon. Do you have your mince pies hot or cold?
Either.
I don't have them cold, but I don't really eat them because if they're homemade, I will.
Right.
If they're not, I won't. Because, like I said, the pastry is just rubbish on the store ones.
Because I have talking about store ones now, because I've ordered some actually, because I am going to have one probably later tonight when it arrives. But one of the things I've noticed is that if you have them cold, you can be a greedy, you-know-whatter, and eat 2 or 3 in one sitting. But if they're hot, you can't, because they're too filling. How does that work? Why is it hot mince pies fill you up, but cold ones don't?
I've got a theory. It's a really stupid one.
Go on.
Because they're still giving off heat, and there's some expansion heat that fills your stomach.
Okay, I'll go with that.
I'm just making it up. Your stomach's warmer than mince pies are. But...
For want of a better explanation, that'll do. The only other thing I was thinking is that you eat cold ones faster before you even realise you're full. So maybe that's.
Well, I wouldn't. I can't be bothered heating them up, but my husband would.
Well, they're nice with ice cream, aren't they? Have you had them with ice cream? Where they're hot with ice cream. That's really nice.
I'm getting a spoon delivered. Ho, ho, ho.
Here we go. Joe Bob. Merry Christmas.
This is my Christmas elf.
I love that you're all wearing your Christmas hats and it isn't even like intentional for the show.
Yeah, no, she will be anyway. She has a Christmas dressing gown. She looks like Mrs. Santa.
Right,
Is it all
Joe
right
Bob.
to eat it then?
Yeah, Joe Bob says not for $1,000.
How
Would
much
she
do you
do
want us to
this?
eat? It's just the
You don't
suet
have
that's
to.
a
I'm
bit-
just joking. I don't know. It'll be fine.
I just want you to see it how it is, the texture of it. So it's like lumps. I'll just eat a bit. So it's got, I can see mixed peel and raisins and sultanas. It's
I don't think I've
lovely.
ever eaten it uncooked.
I think I might have done it at some point. It doesn't taste the same. Does it taste the
Doesn't
same
need
as it?
cooking. Very nice. Just the same.
Right, I'm going to get some and put it on some toast and see what it's like.
Oh, that's gross. Mince
Safe
meat on
cooking
Strong
about
toast.
fruity flavours, isn't it? Really strong fruity, a lot of orange in it.
Yeah.
The peel, the mixed peel. Mm.
Joe Bob's asking, have I missed it? But what makes a good trifle? We never had trifle at Christmas, did you?
No,
No.
don't think
Maybe
so.
trifle
Really?
is an Australian, because she's in Australia, so it's probably more of an Australian one because they would have had salad on Christmas Day.
Is
probably,
it more
wouldn't they?
Easter trifle?
I don't know. I don't know what. I think we just had it whenever we had it. I don't think there was a thing for it. Which says it's the custard and the sherry is her favourite thing. For me, on a trifle, it's the biscuit, and it has to be a little bit crispy still. It can't be mushy.
No, I think I would go with Joe and say the custard needs to be right in a trifle, but also the thickness of the cream on top of that needs to be right, and also it needs chocolate shavings on it.
Or a flake, a crumbled
Oh, well,
flake.
like a flake, like chocolate crumbled over the top of it. Yeah.
I don't
So-
really like trifle.
I can take it or leave it. It's not my favourite one. Yeah. Oh, sherry. She mentioned sherry. That is definitely a Christmas thing. If I have even a taste of sherry, I immediately think it's Christmas, no matter what time of year it is. There's something Christmassy that is Christmas in a bottle to me, sherry.
I shall be having snowballs.
Oh yeah. That's
Is that
another one,
right?
isn't it?
Hang on a second. That is Advocar
Yeah.
and lemonade, is it?
I'm all pink.
Is
Yeah,
it
I think
lemonade?
so.
Lemonade, yes.
And you have to
Lemonade.
have a cherry in it as well, so you get a bit of the pink off the cherry going onto the.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Do you not? Oh, you need to try
No.
that. That's good. Yeah. Do they call that eggnog in America?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But is eggnog warm?
Mm.
Oh, I'm just going to go off for a second. Are you all right just to hold the fort for a sec?
Yeah, we're all right.
I don't know if eggnog is warm or not.
But eggnog is the same, I think, as Advocar, isn't it?
But avocado is what, like an egg-based
It's yellow, isn't it?
yellow drink. Yeah, I almost bought a bottle. I almost bought a bottle the other day, just because I haven't had a snowball for about 15 years. I was like, oh, I might try one.
Yeah, I like them.
So what? So we talked about Christmas puds. Is there any other dessert you have?
After dinner mince.
Oh, like after
Isn't
eggs?
Yeah, which isn't really a dessert. Oh, cheese and biscuits.
Cheese,
And cheese and Christmas cake.
an aristocrat. I see here. Cheese and biscuits.
Not quite.
No, I don't. Yeah, there's a selection put out, but I always just go straight for the Christmas pudding.
Sorry about that. You
No.
didn't hear any of that, did you?
No.
No. Oh, good.
I was
No,
going to try and wind you up for a minute, but no.
No, I'm getting an Asda delivery, my Christmas food shopping, and it's not supposed to be till 9:30 or between 9:30 and 10:30. But the poor guy wants to deliver early. He wants to finish early. So I've had to say, sorry, no, you're going to have to come at normal time. So I feel really bad because I think he wants to finish for Christmas, but bar humbug. Sorry. Anyway.
Wait, yeah.
What did I interrupt?
Any other desserts?
Yeah, any other
Oh.
desserts, yeah.
Apart from chocolate, I don't think there is much else, is there? Oh, I'll tell you what I do like that isn't something from being a kid, but the Italian desserts. There's two. Panettone
Oh,
and
yeah.
pan forte, which is actually my
Yeah.
favourite. So panettone is like a cake loaf type brioche thing, isn't it, with sultanas in, and that's delicious. And pan forte is like a very flat fruit cake kind of thing, but it's
Lots
got
of nuts
pepper
in
in
it.
it. And that's why I love it, because they put pepper. Yeah, they put pepper in it, and it's really special. Really nice. So we've done decorations, we've done food. TV. That has to be the most contentious part of Christmas Day in England, I think. Or at least it was when I was younger. What about you guys?
Yeah, well, I mean, when you go back to the days of having 4 or 5 channels, it wasn't too much of an issue, I don't think.
You can tell he's younger than us, can't you, Annie? We'd have said 2 or 3 channels.
Well,
Yeah.
well, Channel 5 came around in the late 90s, right? So,
Yeah,
there
Channel
were
4
4
was
channels.
it 81, 82, was it? Channel 4?
Yeah, there were always 4 channels for me.
Right, okay.
Right, there were 3. I remember
yeah.
3.
Yeah. But so you didn't really have that much of a choice. I think I'm trying to remember. I think BBC Two was just nothing much on.
Was that more religious on BBC Two? Is that where they kind of shoved all the masses and things like that, and Jesus programs and stuff? Or am I just imagining?
Possibly, yeah. I can't really remember because it was all about BBC One versus ITV. That was the Christmas Day debate.
Yes, it was. And did you buy Radio Times and TV Times? Because the Radio Times was BBC and the TV Times was the ITV channel.
My mum did, but they're about £5 now, aren't they? I bought this the other day for £1.70. What's on your TV? And all I need to know is when Wallace and Gromit are on.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Do you like me props? I've got loads of props tonight.
I'm gonna say it's like stepping back in time. This, Anna, you're bringing up mincemeat, old mincemeat, now TV guides, and
So it's only got 5 channels.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
what was the kind of thing? So it was kind of cartoons in the morning, wasn't it? Because no, the telly was off in the morning.
Yeah,
so
I don't remember watching TV in the morning. It was all playing with toys and stuff in the morning.
Yeah. I think the TV for me came on when I was a teenager, and it was Top of the Pops around 2:00. Was it? Was that when Top of the Pops came on? Which was the music, wasn't it? It was Who was the Christmas #1 song, and I used to watch that every year, and everyone used to row because my gran didn't want to have it on. And my mum didn't want it on, but me and my brother always wanted it on. And then we always had to watch the Queen's speech. What about you? Was that 3:00? Was that?
Yeah, I think so. Well, it would be on, but I wouldn't watch
3:00.
it. We've got free Sky in here as well.
Yeah. So give us an example of what's on. What have the BBC got on Christmas Day night?
Christmas Day. Oops.
I bet it's crap.
Yeah, bet it is.
On the BBC, Christmas Day.
They'll have a movie on about 6-ish, right? Or is it?
Oh, I bet they'll have something like Dancing on Ice or something, won't they? Oh no, that's ITV, isn't it?
Oh, Call the Midwife, 8:00.
Oh, I don't.
No,
the Americans like that, but I don't.
Gavin and Stacey, the finale.
Oh, might have to watch that.
EastEnders.
Oh.
Is on before them 2 and after them 2.
I can't believe that show's still fucking going.
Haven't they cancelled it now? Haven't they? Didn't they announce that, or was that a joke?
Yeah, it's finished, I think. Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul.
That'll be good.
Yeah, that's on at 6:10. So, Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Oh, that is the worst show on earth.
Never watched a full one. I don't think I've ever watched a full one. Morecambe and Wise are on 2.
Oh, they're alive again.
Well, that was it as a kid, wasn't it? Morecambe and Wise was the highlight of the day, wasn't it? On Christmas
from
Day?
1977 it is.
Wow.
So I'm guessing that. So any Morecambe and Wise I saw would have been a repeat. But
yeah.
Still remember watching it as a kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the one I remember was the one where Angela Rippon got from behind the desk and danced, and it was the most shocking thing we'd ever seen.
All that leg.
What was it? What was the song? The Moonlight and Dancing.
Yes,
and
that was it,
that one. Yeah,
because back then there was no such thing as newsreaders doing anything other than reading the news. We didn't have any fly on the wall dancing shows or anything, did we then?
I think the first Morecambe and Wise. I think this was Morecambe and Wise. Was it where they were making breakfast?
Oh, that's a
Morecambe and
brilliant
Wise
scene. Yeah, that's
Oh,
what
yeah, that's good, isn't it?
it's so well choreographed, isn't it?
Yeah.
How we need to? I don't know what it's called. I bet it's just called Morecambe and Wise Breakfast, isn't it? If you do a Google search for that,
I'll have a look.
Yeah, probably.
because it is genius.
Yeah,
Although
Doctor,
it probably,
Doctor Who's on as well.
oh yeah, Doctor Who's kind of always on, isn't it now?
Doctor
I won't
Who.
be watching that.
How old's for Doctor Who? Does it say, is it brand new or an old one?
Oh, don't they normally do a new one at Christmas?
It doesn't. It's new. Yeah, it's a new one.
Doctor Who is absolute shite now.
Yeah, this will
Absolutely.
be the gay non-binary black guy, won't it? Is he still Doctor Who?
I've got the Morecambe and Wise thing up.
Oh right, shall we?
Do you want to watch it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we might not be able to watch it all because will we get a? Mind you, fuck it, it doesn't matter. We can have a copyright strike, can't we?
No,
It's
I
cool.
think you'll be all right. I think you'll be all right. Okay, let's go.
And Mr. M. Allison of Crystal Palace Road, The Stripper, by David Rose.
I think the genius of that is just how daft it is, but also how simple it is as well, you know. But I'm surprised that, you know, they would never get away with that now, would they, with the grapefruit thing as a mouth? They would say that was well, especially with the music that they played. Because did you notice that little bit of music? But things were simpler then.
Yeah. I think that'd be okay nowadays. I think I've seen worse things.
Well, I'll tell you what, you'd assume now, wouldn't you? You'd assume they were gay.
Way now. Sorry.
No, say that again, Annie.
It's worse in a different way now. It's way worse, some of the stuff.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I think people would just think they were gay now.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Because didn't they used to share a bed as well, like Laurel and Hardy?
Yeah, in the sketches, you mean?
Yeah, they were always in bed together, weren't they?
Yeah.
And men and women who were married were always in separate single beds. Did you notice? Like George and Mildred and shows like that, they were never in bed together.
George and
weird,
Mildred was
good. What would be wrong with the grapefruit? Says he's asking. I think it's because they're doing the mammy thing. You know, what was the song called? The Black and White Minstrels. And I think it's kind of supposed to be like the Lips, which some people would say was racist now, because there was like a hint of the music of that. But, I mean, but who cares? We don't care, do we? But
this is part of the problem, right? this stuff has made everyone, even if you don't care, you're sensitive to it. You spot it. You never used to think about these things.
It's like the
Now you have
swastika
to.
thing, isn't it? Seeing swastikas everywhere. Yeah, like blackface lips. Yeah. Yeah, the stripper would be fine now, because that's like, they'd probably want a real stripper, and that would be great for them, wouldn't it? They would like that. But... Oh, just 1 second. I've got to go again. Hold on.
So, Annie, what are you going to watch? What are you actually going to watch on Christmas Day?
Just Wallace and Gromit, probably. I'm not going to watch the King, the Queen,
the kink,
and the Queen that we don't have, because we were told she'd never be Queen, but now she's Queen. They keep calling her the Queen on the news, and I was like, "What Queen?
Queen consort.
Queen's dead." Yeah. The Lady in the Van. That's on 2 at 10:20 if I'm still awake.
I don't even know what is that.
It's Jim Broadbent, starring Maggie Smith, written by Alan Bennett. It's good. It's a
drama, or
it's a drama, but it's from his true life, where the lady in the van moved in on his street, and then she got she was a bit of a vagrant, and so they made a film out of it. But he said, "Come and move on to my drive," and she lived on his drive for 10 years or something. The Lady in the Van. Alan Bennett.
So what other films are on Christmas Day across the 5 channels?
Across the 5 channels, we've got...
Can I guess?
Yeah. Oh, it's falling apart, this. It's cheap.
You need to laminate
Wonderful
it.
Life will be on at some point.
The what?
It's a Wonderful Life. There'll be a rom-com like Notting Hill or Love Actually or something like that.
Notting Hill is on Channel 4. Yeah.
There'll be a big long epic, something like
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Before Notting Hill.
Is Wizard of Oz on?
It might be on earlier.
That's usually on, isn't it?
We've got Toy Story 3, Minions, Home Alone 2. I like Home Alone films.
That's the one with Donald. That's the one with Donald Trump in it. Home Alone 2. Well, now that's going to go down.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow! Oh, I might
The
have to watch
Italian
that.
Job. That's on.
Is it
the
new
original
one
or the
old
remake?
one?
Yeah.
We're thinking the same thing now, weren't we?
Which one is it?
1969.
Oh,
the Michael Caine one.
Not the
Yeah.
original.
Oh, well, that's worth watching then.
Yeah. What else did I just see? Oh, an alternative Christmas message.
Oh, yeah, that's something that Channel 4 has been doing, isn't it?
Counterpoint to the King's broadcast. Miracle on
usually
34th Street, but I've just watched that.
If you can hear crinkling, it's one of the cats. He's decided that he's going to stand all over some wrapped Christmas presents.
Richard Attenborough. Downton Abbey's on ITV.
Yeah, this has to be the best Christmas movie ever, I think.
I wonder if that's going to be on. I'll have to sit and read this. There's a lot to read.
Oh, it says he asked as well, is horror, not horror, but is scary stories, ghost stories still a thing? I don't think we ever did that, did you?
Don't think so,
At
no.
Christmas?
Yeah, don't think. I suppose the only thing would be Christmas Carol with Dickens, isn't it? But that's about it, I think.
Yeah, there was some, So the only scary thing about Christmas is my bank balance.
And the cleaning up afterwards.
And how low it gets. Yeah.
Boxing Day. Shall we talk about Boxing Day?
Yeah.
What is Boxing Day?
It's a day you take all the presents back that you don't like.
It's when the Christmas sale starts.
It's when you clear up all your boxes from the day before.
Well, apparently, isn't it where the servants used to get presents? That was the day the servants got theirs, I believe. But I could be wrong on that.
Oh, no idea. No idea.
Yeah, we get the 2 days. We get Christmas Day and Boxing Day off, which is great. And that's, I suppose, in America, you would have your Thanksgiving Friday off. Black Friday is their day off, isn't it? Which we obviously don't get. So when they're laughing at us for not having that day off, then I like to remind them of the Boxing Day that we get off. But what do you do on Boxing Day?
Where I live, there's a dip.
Oh, like a sea dip.
Yeah, a fundraising dip in the sea in Santa hats and costumes and things.
Oh, God. Do you do it?
I have never done it.
I think you should. I think you should have put it on your show. I think you should film it for us.
Emily did it.
Oh, wow.
Emily and a boyfriend did it last year. Now they are going in the sea this year, but they're not part of the dip. They're just going to go in the sea.
Wow.
We have people going in at 8 o'clock every morning. And I think there's people going at 7 o'clock every morning as well.
Good God.
All days of the year. But the Boxing Day dip is huge.
Yeah, I've had friends do it, but I've never done it.
Yeah, the beach is packed of people watching as well, and then there's a cordoned off run down the middle. Yeah. And everybody runs down into the sea. Has the photo took? Gets wet, cold. It's just a thing. It's like everybody's there.
Well, we haven't got anything like that here. I mean, Boxing Day here, you kind of just you eat the leftovers, don't you, from the day before? And if you're a kid, you play with your toys that you weren't able to play with the day before, or it's a day when you go visiting if you didn't see people on Christmas Day itself. Yeah. So Boxing Day is kind of a bit of a funny day, I think. I'll tell you what I have remembered about Christmas Day from years ago was all the men used to go to the pub on Christmas Day, and they would get kicked out at 3 o'clock because that was when last orders used to be on Sunday hours. And then that's when they came and the wives at home had prepared the Christmas dinner and they were in a fuming mood, whereas all the men were a little bit tipsy already. And so there was always a row at that point if that happened. My dad only did it a few times. I think he was banned from going to the pub on Christmas Day.
Yeah, I've never really done that either. It's mostly because I'm normally once I get with family, I just stay with them.
I think it's definitely like my grandparents' generation were the ones that did that. Because I think a lot of the women back then, in traditional roles would have wanted the men out of the way. If they weren't helping, you may as well get out, And so I think they kind of liked that a little bit to get rid of them, didn't they? But,
yeah.
So I think we've talked. I'll tell you what we've not talked about is Christmas music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your favourite Christmas song?
Well, mine is the Pogues.
Oh, you can't beat it, can you? That's got to be the best one, I think. So, Fairy Tale of New York. Yeah, but it's not English, though, is it really? Well, it's English. Well, Irish, English, and American.
You didn't say favourite English song.
well, well, what's your favourite English song then? Christmas song?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Christmas music overall. There are a few good songs out there that I do like. Yeah. But mostly from working in retail when I was younger, they just used to piss me off.
God, yeah.
You should just hear the same songs on repeat non-stop for a month.
I think the best ones are the ones that aren't really Christmas songs. Like Fairy Tale of New York, you could listen to that any time of year, really, even though they mentioned Christmas in it. It's not, it's not necessarily got all the jingle bells and the, stuff like that.
I don't mind Frank Sinatra. What's it called? Merry Little Christmas. Have yourself a Merry Little Christmas. That's quite a good song. The Darkness did a really good song as well years ago.
Who did?
Called The Darkness, like a UK rock band. From called Don't Let the Bells End. And that's actually quite a good little rocky Christmas tune.
I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
We'll definitely get struck for that if we play it. But yeah.
Last Christmas is 40 years old, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. They're making a big thing of that, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, so's Band-Aid then, isn't it? That was the same year.
Right.
Do they know? I watched the making of that the other night, and it actually made me really sad. And part of the reason was because I was like, quite young. I was a teenager when that came out. And I was like, a lot of them were my pop stars. But watching it now, they all look like young kids to me now. you can see their insecurities. Whereas when you're young, you think they're like gods, these pop stars, don't you? And you can see they were all nervous. They were taking the piss out of each other and being a bit nasty with each other and stuff. And I kind of like, wow, that was such a massive moment from my, teenage years.
It was really, wasn't it? But I can't be doing with the song now.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah. I like Driving Home for Christmas because it's about Middlesbrough.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Chris Rea is from round here.
Was it about I thought it was about the was it about the M6? Because didn't he get stuck on the M6? Oh no, that's Road to Hell by
bit of a different song there, that one.
Well, not really.
Well, I used to live on the Road to Hell, which is the A666. So I'm sure they did that one on purpose because it is a bit of a road to hell as well.
The one thing about Christmas songs that I always, whenever George Michael comes on, I always remember he died on Christmas Day.
Oh, he did.
And I remember I was sat in my stepsister's kitchen. It was like midnight. We were having a few beers and that, and the news came on that he died. And my stepsister absolutely loved him, and she was having a fit because he died on Christmas Day.
Oh.
So whenever I hear that song, it just reminds me of that, sitting in a kitchen and her having a fit about it. But I just remember him dying on Christmas Day. So whenever I hear that, it just reminds me of that. So.
Well, when that came out, I hated that song at the time because I didn't like Wham. I didn't like them at all. But now I can look back and when I hear it, I think actually that's a great song.
I played a lot after he died. Emily wasn't sure about. I think some of the songs were familiar. But I played a lot of them because I got a thing that I could put my iPad on. So we watched all the videos and everything and of a lot of the songs just after he died.
Yeah, he's a brilliant.
I appreciated him.
Yeah, I watch this guy. I watch his YouTubes every now and again. Don't watch it religiously, but he's like a vocal analyst guy, and he plays singers, all kinds of singers, Julie Garland, George Michael, all of these. And what he does is he kind of shows where their vocal range is, like on a computer, the kind of thing. And George Michael, he said, had the perfect pitch. It was the most perfect voice he'd ever heard. He got every note, whereas a lot of people do that thing, to get the note. You know what I mean, don't you? Where they don't quite get it and they kind of warble their voice to get to it. Not there's anything wrong with that, apparently, but he hit it every time. And you just don't realise that when you see them just as a pop star. You don't realise how good he was at what he did.
Yeah.
It
was sad when he died.
Yeah. There's a lot of music. There's a lot of channels on YouTube that do that voice analysis. Because I've seen them. I've seen a lot of them do analysis like rock songs, like Kurt Cobain singing and things like that. So. Yeah, there's quite a few of those out there.
I haven't seen anything like that. I shall have to have a look.
But yes, I can't remember what the guy's name is, but he's got long brown curly hair. But he also does analysis of guitar playing as well. But he did a really interesting one about Judy Garland and Liza Minnelli, where he compared the voices together. And he said, although, as we listen to it, we hear a difference. But he said obviously, Liza Minnelli learned everything from her mum. Because it was exactly the same, pretty much.
Right.
Sorry, going right off topic now, aren't we? So what have we? So we've been going 2 hours now. So I'm just thinking, going back to music. We haven't quite finished music. Do the songs drive you mad at Christmas? When you're out and about and on the radio, it's like constant songs.
It depends.
Go on what?
It depends if I choose to listen to them. I'm fine. If they're forced on me, they piss me off.
Right.
If I go into a shop to buy something, like the other day, I went in 3 shops and they were all playing Mariah Carey in every one of them.
Oh.
I was like, I'm sick of hearing this song.
Why does everyone hate that song? Because I hate it. Her particular Christmas song. What is it about it?
I don't think she's a very good singer, if I'm being honest with you. But that might be a bit of a hot take. Her voice just annoys me.
It's just too screechy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the vocal acrobatics I don't like. Like the Luther Vandross thing, where all that kind of rock.
No, I don't like that. I don't really hear that many because I'm a bit sort of. I'm not your typical female. I don't spend a lot of time shopping. I only hear the odd one in the car, and I don't.
This
really
is
play
definitely a
them at home.
no-no, isn't it? If I ruled the world, I would say. But then again, this is probably going back to my mum and her rule of the 12th of December. So it's obviously stuck in my head somewhere. But I think nothing Christmas should be mentioned until the 12th of December. You know, no Christmas music, no Christmas lights,
Yeah.
nothing until then.
I found a nice thing on YouTube where it's you know, if you've got company round and you're not messing about putting music on, and you just get a screen with a cozy Christmas theme, and there was the Sinatra one and all that, and the music's nice, and it's like a cozy Christmas theme. So that's kind of quite
it's
good.
like probably like a playlist, right? Like a kind of a
yeah,
playlist.
but there's like there was a jazz one, and there was like a Sinatra and all the old classics and things.
Yeah. So yeah, like I say, if I choose to listen to Christmas songs, I'm fine with it. But if they're forced on me and they're repetitive, then it just annoys me.
There's a new one out and it's awful.
Oh God, by who?
I can't remember who it was now.
Somebody
So
big,
that's
or
a lot
famous?
of use, isn't it?
Somebody famous, or is it a
Yes.
new band?
Yes, because it's a money spinner, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's their retirement plan, isn't it? To do a
Yeah, of
Christmas
course
song.
it is. Yeah.
Oh, do we talk about
You know-
a certain Cliff Richard with his Christmas songs?
Uh,
The Americans
you
won't
got the
even know
same
who he is.
response from both of us then.
I think we have to, because it kind of, for a long time, it was kind of synonymous, wasn't it, with the Christmas song? Because he always did a Christmas
Yeah, has
song.
he not done one this year? Is he losing his marbles?
Oh, I think since his, the scandals, shall we say, or
Since
the
he found out
implied
he's really
scandals.
dodgy.
Yeah, I don't think he's done any since then, has he? Well, didn't
Is he actually really dodgy or not?
Well, we'll have to prefix this with allegedly. However, yes, very.
Yeah.
But I can tell you things offline if you like.
Yeah, I've not really heard about it, but yeah, okay, fair enough.
Kitty.
Why
All
would
you need to
they-
do is know that he has an alter ego, allegedly called Kitty,
Okay.
and
All right, I can imagine.
and it's Kitty that does the things,
Right.
allegedly.
That
Right.
won't keep you that won't keep you out of jail, mate, that one.
I mean, they
Well,
don't often
he's
raid
untouchable
your-
though, sadly.
You don't
like
often get
Savills.
raided, do you? Like your property.
No, there was
Well, I
something.
don't. No, I mean, we still live in a country of innocent until proven guilty, so I don't like to jump to conclusions. But yeah,
Well,
and the
we
police.
don't anymore,
Yeah, well,
do
let's
we?
not talk. Let's
Really?
not talk about police on live streams.
Yeah, because one of us gets raided. Yeah, we don't live in a country now, though, where you're innocent until proven guilty. It's kind of, if you look at what happened with people that were arrested, and then charged and imprisoned for posting stuff on social media and things, like within 24 hours they were in prison. That's, Anyway, we're going off subject, aren't we?
Yeah.
Christmas, happy, la, la, la.
So there was something I
Not
was going to say
guilty.
about songs. I can't remember what it was now. Never mind. It'll come back to me.
We haven't talked about the snowman.
Don't like
That
it.
annoys me. It does my head.
You were going to say you did like it.
What you mean?
No.
You mean the animated film?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
animated film, The Snowman, with bloody Alan Jones singing "Walking on the Sky" or whatever it's called.
Walking in the air.
Oh.
Yeah. The book was a lot better. Don't know if you ever read the book.
Yeah, because it didn't have Alan Jones and bloody all the hype, did it? Yeah, I mean, I remember it when it first came on because we talked about this before, didn't we? But there was like a massive hype because it was Channel 4, I think, when it first came on, and David Bowie actually introduced it.
It did, yeah.
It was like quite a big thing. And I remember watching it being at the beginning of it thinking, wow, this is really good because it had that really nice sort of technique of animation where all of the frames are different. So it's kind of got that real jerky movement of the colours and everything. But I'm not kidding. Halfway through, I was falling asleep because it got really boring. And I don't think I've ever seen it from start to finish in one sitting. I've only seen bits of it because I just find it dull.
So
Isn't
one
it
of my... So it was Raymond Briggs who wrote the book.
That's right.
And he did another book called Father Christmas.
And When the Wind Blows, which you should watch that one. Cool.
Well, Father Christmas is one of my favourite kind of childhood books because it was Father Christmas being a cynical bastard, basically, all the time. Right?
Was he me?
And,
Was it me?
Yeah, but he was like, I just remember, like, in the book, he would, like, it was all about him during his, like, off season when he was going on holiday and stuff. And as he's walking around, he'd be walking around a town in Venice or something, or sorry, a shopping centre in Venice. And some kid would point at him and go, "Hey, is that Santa?" And in his head, he'd be saying, "Oh, God, I need to go to another country now." Because he just moved on. If anyone recognised him, he just moved on to the next place. And he's just really cynical about everything.
I think we need to say as well,
it's a really good book.
Father Christmas is what we call Santa. Because in America, they don't have that, I don't think, do they? They don't have the Father Christmas concept. I don't think they get that. But yeah, I completely sympathise with Father Christmas on holiday. Because I often get kids staring at me when I'm, just out and about, Not had anyone say anything yet, but I do get them staring.
Liz has mentioned Screw the Walk. Have you heard that song?
Screw the Walk. Oh, that's not a Thingy McDonald song, is it? Is it, what's he called?
Yeah, I think it is. Tom McDonald.
Tom McDonald, that's him, yeah. I probably have heard it, but I don't know it, if you know what I mean. Do you know
it? Bit of it.
So what else should we talk about to kind of wrap it up a little bit, I think now? Got to wrap it up because Asda is coming with my food.
Yeah.
With my mince pies. I don't know when.
Do you buy presents for your pets?
I have done, but I don't always do it.
No, they don't know, do they?
No, but I do know people who. My friend Carol, she's got a dog, and they have his birthday. He gets a birthday cake, a pet birthday cake. Christmas, he gets stuff. It's like they don't know, but
I think our Emily's bought something for ours, and they do unwrap their own presents.
When I was a kid, we used to get something for the dogs, but the thing is, they do know something's going on.
Yeah,
because there's so much excitement in the room and lots of unfamiliar presents and paper being thrown about all over the place, and so cats, they do understand something's happening. Yeah,
the wrapping in the boxes is the present for the cats. They love that.
Yeah.
What about newborn babies? You know what I mean? Like if because they're the same, aren't they? Like so. Say your grandchild is born before Christmas Day. Let's just say, you'd make a huge big fuss, wouldn't you, of Christmas with the baby? But they won't know.
No, she wouldn't know. She'd have to be spread thin as well. There's too many of us would want to see her all on that day.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think what else.
It'd be a hospital visit, wouldn't it?
Are you big drinkers at Christmas?
No.
Yeah, it depends on.
Oh, Tomsky is. He's a drunk, aren't you? You'll be absolutely paralytic on Christmas Day, I bet.
Well, no, not really. I mean, it depends, right? So I'm really, I try not to get too drunk on Christmas Day because. I have to drive home the day after, and the police are really on people being like drunk driving the day after. So, I'm not that. I never. Let's put it this way: I never go on to anything hard. I never go on to any liquor or whiskey or anything. I always stick to beer and wine, and that's it. So, I don't go crazy on Christmas Day.
I remember years ago when I was a kid, like relatives would come round, drive round, and they would drink whiskey or brandy or whatever it was, and they would be having quite a few, and they would have probably been over the limit, but everybody did it then in the 70s. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Everybody was drunk at Christmas.
So
oh wow, BS! What the hell? She has a Bloody Mary in the morning, apple cider and cinnamon whiskey in the evening. Oh, I tell you what, I don't think the Americans have is mulled wine.
Ah.
So that's like a red wine, isn't it? That's warmed up with Christmassy spices. And what else? There's something else to it, isn't there? What else do you put in it?
Slices of orange, or
yeah, is there some? Do you put sugar in it?
Drink it?
I don't like it much. I could have a taste of it. But it makes me feel drunk, even though it probably isn't very alcoholic, is it? I don't know.
Well, you can buy it already spiced, can't you? Or you can buy the spices and do your own with your wine.
Yeah.
It's easier to just buy it already spiced and just warm it up.
My drink of choice on Christmas would be one glass of port.
Yeah,
And that
we've got port.
it's like the grown-up version of sherry, isn't it, port? It's kind of definitely a Christmas thing.
So I'm not a big fan of port, but years ago I found a spiced rum called Sailor Jerry's. Now it's quite popular now, but it wasn't at the time when I found it. But it has all the same spices in it in the original flavour that you get in like a Christmas spiced rum. Like a what do you say? Like a spice like mulled wine.
Yeah.
And so whenever I drink that, it always reminds me of Christmas, just because of all the spices that it has in it.
I've got a recommendation for you. The Salford Rum Company, they do great rum. They do a spiced one. And I've got some in the cupboard here. And what I like about it is just down the road, and they have really cool bottles with like a hand-drawn map of Salford on them. And the booze is good. It's really nice. So they deliver as well.
You'll have to send me a link to it.
I thought he was going to say, you'll have to send me a bottle. I was going to say, bugger off. I can't afford to send you rum. Yeah, I'll send you a link. No, it's really cool. I always have some in now because I do like a rum every now and again. With ginger ale or ginger beer. Rum and ginger beer is lovely.
Just put a bit of ice in it.
Oh, no, I can't do raw drinks. Neat drinks.
Yeah.
I'm a wuss like that. But anyway, I think we need to wrap it up because I'm getting a bit panicky now about the Asda turning up at the doorstep. So thank you very much for coming on and joining us. And if I don't speak to either of you before, have a very good Christmas, very Merry Christmas. And the final thing to say, I think, is that Christmas, Annie, and Pirate.
You've been blocked.